what Srila Prabhupada has written. The specific situation, Sukadeva Goswami is not narrating the whole Ramayan in the sense that without the Vishnu Tattva explanation, it is useless to understand Ramayan. Therefore, he tells Parikshit Maharaj very profoundly something. माताजी अंग्रेजी में पता चला है? हिंदी में बोला है?
जी है, थोड़ा सा साथ में।
साथ में बोला है।
जी।
तो रामचंद्र जी की जो ये कुल की परंपरा है, इक्ष्वाकु कुल में थे और इक्ष्वाकु के कुल में महाराज खटवांग भी हो गए। जब खटवांग इतने परम भक्त थे कि देवताओं के पक्ष में उन्होंने असुरों के साथ संग्राम में भाग लिया और देवता बहुत प्रसन्न हो गए, वरदान मांगा। वो कह रहे हैं तेरी मृत्यु कब आएगी? तो उन्होंने कहा कि एक पल। तो लेकिन तुरंत खटवांग महाराज ने एक पल में अपना भगवान के साथ संपर्क बांध लिया और भगवत धाम पहुंचे। तो कृष्ण भावना यानी भगवत भावना वाला होना एक पल का भी काम, नहीं तो युगो युगो कुछ नहीं होता। तो हमें ये परम सत्य के प्रति ध्यान देने के लिए सुखदेव गोस्वामी कह रहे हैं। In the description as a prelude, Sukadeva Goswami talks about the Ikshvaku dynasty that came from the sun god, and in Ikshvaku, Maharaj Khatwanga also happened to be one of the pure devotees. I was narrating her that he was fighting on behalf of the demigods against the demons. So the demigods became very pleased and they want to benedict him. So he said, what is your desire? So he said, when is my death going to come? That is my only desire. Because he was Krishna conscious, but he made sure just, because the demigods told him, you will die in 1 second. But that was enough for him to become Krishna conscious, because he was so determined and he wanted to leave his body thinking of Krishna. So he will go back home, back to God. Right? So in this dynasty of Maharaj Ikshvaku, Khatwanga has a son called Dirghabahu, and his son was Raghu. The son of Raghu was Aja, and Aja's son was Dasharath. Alright. So Dasharath was childless. So he wanted Putreshti Yajna, just to satisfy his desire that the dynasty should continue, and he engaged Purohit to conduct the Putreshti Yajna, means to fulfill the obligations that these children would be pure devotees. But it so happened that he meditated on the Supreme Person. The Supreme Person is now going to come under the quadruple expansions. He won't come alone. Just like in Gaura Avatar, he came in Panchatattva. 5 principal expansions of Lord Krishna. Krishna himself expands in Vaikuntha in quadruple, Vasudeva, Sankrishna, Pradyumna and Avyakta. So in the same way, in Goloka Vrindavan, also he keeps on expanding. So, just to show that Krishna is unlimited is a superficial reason. But why actually he is expanding all the way up to, even in the material world, expansions continue of him in the form of Paramatma. And this Paramatma enters in the heart of a particular living entity. A living entity has its size only 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. जीव बहुत इतना छोटा है कि बाल के आगे का भाग का 100 भाग करो, फिर से एक में से दूसरा 100 भाग करो, तो एक 10,000वां भाग यानी कि हम तो देख नहीं पाते। तो भगवान अपना विस्तार करते करते परमात्मा के रूप में भी एक छोटे से कण के हृदय में बैठते हैं। एक छोटे से कण में हृदय होता है। Is there any heart in that single atomic soul? But yes. The meaning of the heart becomes completely, transcendental when one wants to indicate it is the core of the consciousness. Because consciousness is all pervading and consciousness belongs to the particular soul. And it is spreading all over the body. So, just like we were talking in the quote that Dr. Ravishankar, while it has been said that the Lord is situated in the heart of every living entity. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishthati. But Krishna is expanding within the heart of that living entity who is only a minuscule particle of Chitka. Chitka. Kana means a particle. And this particle is so much insignificant. 1/10,000 portion. You are measuring into what they call even micron, sub-micron level. You cannot see by your naked eye. So that you cannot locate even. Otherwise, so that Dr. Ravishankar says that it is specifically said that Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. He is sitting in the heart of every living entity. So it must be in the heart of the body. Then I had to send him the correct understanding. Then how would you explain the heart of this particular body? Paramatma is situated in that. Otherwise, Brahma Samhita will be wrong. Andantarastha paramanu chaya antarastham govindamadi purushtam tamam vijanam. He is within and without of that particle also. So if he can enter in the heart of that particular living entity, means how would you express? If he thinks that it is in the pumping heart, then scientists would have a look at it without any problem. But they cannot find it. You can't pinpoint. Because he is present by his chit potency, which is spreading throughout the body. So, you cannot say at this time, where are you located? Can you tell? Where are you located? Are you in the brain? Or in this part of the body? Or that part of the body? You can't say. Because you are conscious in every part. Means it is being distributed throughout the body. But what is the core of consciousness? Core means heart. What is the core of consciousness? Core of consciousness is where the living entity is. Where the consciousness is emerging. Right? This consciousness is endowed, given to by the Supreme Person. And that's why that consciousness is being utilized by that living entity to express his desire, express his existence within the body. First, the soul has to take away or withdraw his consciousness from different limbs of the body when they are not functioning. When a person dies, Mataji, आप तो doctor हैं, you are not doctor. Anybody? कोई doctor है? When a person dies, his limbs as extremities, what we call, they start losing their energy, they become cold. Then, where he is, from which gate particularly he is going, that will be the last one to become cold. In other words, the living entity can go through any of the 9 gates of the body. But in yogic process, they were splitting the Brahmarandra, the skull, and they were able to control that through Ashtanga Yoga system. But regardless, first of all, the consciousness is withdrawn. When the consciousness is withdrawn, and then we can say, then now the living entity is completely gone. So the idea is that even though it is so much fragmental part, a particle, but his qualities are completely opposite than material particle. So therefore he cannot be distinguished. He cannot be identified. But his presence is recognized. And that living entity is there. One has to understand through the Jiva Tattva, means the truth about the Jiva, that he is part and parcel of the Supreme. He is made up of the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. But because he is so tiny, he can be easily overcome by an opposite energy, which is Bahiranga Shakti, and he is overcome by the mode of ignorance first, Hare Krishna. The mode of ignorance is dictating the ego, false ego, and likewise he creates his illusory existence. It is temporary, but yet. So, the Lord is expanding, and expansion is his causeless mercy, to make us understand different situations that the living entity is also going to exhibit as perverted desires, opposite desires. Because qualitative oneness is there, naturally the Lord is full of desires, but they are his transcendental desires. But out of enviousness, these desires become perverted for a single separated part and parcel of him, Vipinnansha. So, when we see, when the Lord descended into this world in his full quadruple expansions as Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna. The great sages like Valmiki, who were actually in knowledge of the absolute truth, described his transcendental pastimes, and Sukadeva Goswami is describing pastimes in brief. In brief. So, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth himself directly appeared with his expansion and expansion of expansion Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna, and they celebrated incarnations, thus appeared in 4 forms as the son of Maharaj Dashrath. Right? Srila Prabhupada is telling that Lord Ramchandra and his brothers Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna are all Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many, many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. The Lord is situated in many forms such as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna, and these forms may exist in any part of His creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally as individual personalities of Godhead. And they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. So again, that is reiterated. Then, Deeparchi Hirevahi Dasantaram Abhyapetya Deepayate Vibruta Hetu Samana Dharma. Yastadragevachahi Vishnutaya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamam. All this expansion of the singular personality of God are like the candles. There are so many candles, all the lights are there. And seemingly, all the candle power in each and every day amounts to be the same. But we are not concerned with different candles. We are only concerned from which candle all the candles have been lit. That original candle is called Govindam Adi Purusham. Therefore Vedas say, Eko Bahushyam. From one manifested many. So these are Krishna's expansions. These expansions are Krishna's own expansions, means they have been created by His own will. But we are separated expansions of Krishna. We are not Krishna's own by His will expanded. We are not avatars. Mayavadis say, okay, which avatar you are in right now? You can become any avatar. But Brahma Samhita distinguishes that. Vibhinna anshas are separated part and parcel, while swaanshas, they are His own will. Because along with the Vibhinna ansha, He has to also expand in order just to guide, not to compete that, oh, Vibhinna anshas will be taking over some of my kingdom. Krishna doesn't have to worry. Krishna is omnipresent by His swaanshas. We are not omnipresent. I have to travel from Adelaide to here because I cannot expand myself here and at the same time in Adelaide. I'm a Vibhinna ansha. And moreover, I am dependent or succumb to or under control of material energy, not spiritual energy. I am trying to come under the control of spiritual energy. Because I understood something, that I don't have to be eternally Vibhinna ansha. So, this is pretty important. Why Krishna has to expand? Because Vibhinna anshas are there, Krishna has to reach at that level. He Himself is so much perfect and complete that even though He is expanding, He remains as He is. Because all His expansions are going to be within Him, including so-called separated expand. They cannot get out from the clutches of Krishna. Otherwise, how could we justify the definition of perfect and complete? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, from whom everything emanates, that is also perfect and complete. Even after so many perfect and complete units are expanded from him, he remains still perfect and complete. Purnam means sum total. When sum total is existing, anything that is going to expand, it will be within him, not outside of him. There is nothing outside of Krishna. So in Chatusloki Bhagavatam, Krishna says very bluntly, Hey Brahma, when you were not there, Shiva was not there, I was there. And when you have been created by me, I am there as the complete whole, and you are embedded in me. You cannot be out of my jurisdiction. So when you will be annihilated, all that is created by me, expanded, I'll be still there. So don't worry. Therefore, surrender. Therefore, surrender. So, this is beautiful, a prelude about the tattva, means the truth. Then Krishna is reaching out through the agency of Paramatma, which is an expansion of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is an expansion of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is an expansion of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is an expansion of secondary quadruple Shankarsha, who is an expansion of original secondary quadruple in Gaura Vrindavan, and who are the manifestation of Lord Krishna. That is cited. Most of our upbringing as Hindus, we were taught only, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, this is the trilogy, and one is the creator, another is the preserver, and the third one is destroyer. And then they take Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the preserver. He has a thankless task. Why do he has to do that preservation? No, but who are these parcels? It's okay, Vishnu. So they have been separated. So people do not know that Vishnu is also the creator. And ultimately Vishnu is the destroyer also. Why he has to preserve? भगवान को सिर्फ पालन पोषण करने का ही अधिकार है, या हम लोग छोटी बुद्धि से भगवान को सीमित कर देते हैं? लेकिन भगवान पैदा करने वाले हैं, अहम सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समन्विता। जो ज्यादातर पढ़े लिखे नहीं होते इन लोगों के लिए, चलो तो ये तीन में मान, बट ये तीन में मानने वाले अत्रि और अनुसया भी थे, और ब्रह्मा जी के ही तो बेटे थे, उनको ऐसे मानने की क्या आवश्यकता थी? लेकिन जानते नहीं। Atri and Anusaya, they were, Atri was the son of Brahma. His wife was Anusaya. And they were supposed to become Prajapati. right? But Atri Muni, he is nonetheless meditator, but he knew only Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh to be the original trilogy, what they call, the Trinity. So he thought they are the supreme. So they must be all equal. So he did not know who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead out of three. So he approached all of them thinking that they are supreme. And please appear as my child, my dear Lord. He told all three of them, thinking they are one and the same. So, when three of them came to become their child, then he was perplexed. I wanted one child. They are going to give me triplets? Come on, that's pretty good. No? He had troublesome. So, they have to clarify. You asked for us, but I wanted the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I thought any one of you could be. That's not the rule. If you want the Supreme Person to become your child, then you must be totally devoted to Him and Him alone. And when He doesn't know, then how could? So, all of them three said, no, you called for us, we will become your children. So, Lord Vishnu became Dattatreya. Brahma had to offer him a son in the form of moon god, Soma, and Durvasa Muni was the son of Lord Shiva for them. So, because they did not know who the Supreme was. So, instead of one, he got three. And therefore, we see, even though Dattatreya is incarnation of God, he comes under a subsidiary incarnation, not the primary incarnations. And he taught impersonalism deliberately. उन्होंने भगवान के व्यक्तित्व के बारे में कोई चर्चा नहीं की. भगवान का निर्गुण निराकार तत्व ही समझाया दत्तात्रेय. उन्होंने भी 24 गुरु किए थे, क्या क्या नहीं, लेकिन उससे भगवत तत्व समझने में परेशानी आएगी कि भगवान तो व्यक्तित्व का परिचय निर्गुण निराकार ब्रह्म वालों से हो ही नहीं सकता, न तो उनको कुछ पता होता. तो इसलिए ये तत्व जानने के लिए आवश्यकता सर्वप्रथम रजू करते हैं, और उसके द्वारा हम ये भगवान रामचंद्र जी की कथा आगे बढ़ाएंगे. So, this is the result. If you do not know who the Supreme Person, you know who you are. And he was a Muni, great Muni. He can achieve liberation in no time. They were in liberated state, but still they had a kind of mixed power for the Supreme to come and become their son. So, this understanding is a very direct, perceptible example of the absolute truth. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without second, and we must know. Here the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramchandra, he is coming in the form of quadruple expansion. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Satrugna. They are portion of the portion of the portion. Like that. How is it? So, Dashrath Raja is performing Putrishti Yajna. The Brahmins brought the kheer that was given by Agni Dev. Okay, here is the prasadam. So Maharaj, you give it to your wife. But Dashrath Maharaj had 3 wives. Dashrath gave to Kaushalya. She is of a Vaishnava character. She was compassionate on other 2. So therefore, from the kheer, the bowl, she took only half, 50%. And gave it to Sumitra. She took only 25% because she kept another 25% for Kaikeyi. Alright? But when Kaikeyi was taking that, some say, Bhagavatam doesn't say, neither it is important, that one kite came and took away some portion. And that portion somehow fell by providence in the mouth of Anjani. So Hanuman was begotten from there. But regardless, we are thinking of the portion of Amsha Kala. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. So here it is said that they are in quadruple expansion means portion, then portion of the portion, and portion of the portion of the portion. Is it not? So it is such division. It means the Supreme Lord will show, even though He is Supreme, but He will not show the total potency, just like Krishna showed. Krishna was Purnavatar, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purana Purushottam, for that particular reason that He came as He is, without any division of the portions. Right? Lord Ramachandra became a human being. Krishna did not become human being. He assumed a human-like form. Krishna assumed a human-like form. Because human-like form in the transcendental nature is the original form that is expressed in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. When Arjuna wanted all the opulences in the material world, which are Krishna's energy, but they have manifested, but he wanted to see in one particular form. So, he asked, in 10th chapter he described, Krishna described his material opulences, but now Arjuna wanted to see that form of the Lord. So, it became so much gigantic Virata Rupa. Virata Rupa. And Arjuna could not relate. But nonetheless, he knew. So he asked Krishna, I don't know. What is this personality? Who are you? Why are you present in this particular time and circumstances? And what I am saying is completely terrifying me. I cannot relate with you in this form, he says. So when Krishna expressed why he is present in this particular form and at this particular time, because it is the devastation. And he also showed that the result of the Kurukshetra war will be that everyone will be perished except you 5 brothers. So he knew through this form, He saw even Bhishma, Pitama, Karna and all great archers and Duryodhana side. Everybody was rushing into the fiery mouth of Virat. So all indications Krishna showed him. But Arjun is telling, my dear Lord, I cannot relate with this form. I have no relationship with you in this form. I beg all the forgiveness because I might have mistreated you like that. He is trying to apologize. Krishna, because Krishna is present here in the gigantic form, completely unimaginable. Nobody has even seen this kind of form. Krishna says even demigods are desiring to see this form. No, they cannot. Yet you have seen by my mercy. So Arjun said, please be more merciful unto me. Can you show me your original form back? And that is not of a human being. He is in Dvibhuj. So therefore Krishna says that Janma karma cha me divyam evam vettiyo tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti namati swarga. One who knows my appearance and activity, means the form, and the transcendental activity, which are divine in nature. Divine means one in transcendental nature, which is the absolute realm. Absolute truth hangs in transcendence only. Absolute does not stay in material. Material is changing, temporary. It is not called absolute. It is relative. So whatever is changing, it is not our reality. Because we are directly part and parcel of the absolute truth. Therefore, all truth about us is also real. That we are existing. But our bodies are temporary and they are misleading. They are creating Maya. They are perplexing, they are troubling the soul. But the soul is still envious with Krishna, hankers for separate arrangement for him to be happy. But without miseries, he can't even take a glimpse of happiness. There are more miseries than happiness in the world. कोई उल्टा बोल सकता है कि इस दुनिया में दुख कम है और सुख ज्यादा है? कोई बोल सकता है? कोई नहीं. कोई यदि कोई कहे तो पागल समझना उनको. अवजानन्ति माम मूढ़ा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम्. जब मैं मनुष्य जैसे स्वरूप धारण करके आता हूँ तो मूर्ख मनुष्य मुझे गलत ढंग से समझते हैं. अवजानन्ति, वो क्या समझते हैं कि मैं इनके जैसा हूँ. इसलिए हमारे साथ वो ऐसा भौतिक यानी कि मटेरियल ट्रांजैक्शन, मटेरियल व्यवहार करता है. परम भावम अजानता, मेरा दिव्य भाव जो है वो जानता नहीं कि मम भूत महेश्वरम, मैं सारी स्थिति भौतिक हो या आध्यात्मिक हो इनका महेश्वर. शिव जी भौतिक सृष्टि के महेश्वर है, आध्यात्मिक सृष्टि के महेश्वर नहीं है. And the Shiva is the supreme controller of material energy. And material energy, Durga Devi is his consort. So both of them conduct a thankless task to maintain the material balance by providing ingredients to construct the material bodies. Srishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti rekha chayeva yasya bhuvanani vivarti durga इच्छानुरूपम अपि यस्य चेष्टते सा गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहं भजामि। ये ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं ब्रह्म संहिता कि सृष्टि यानी कि सृजन करना है, स्थिति यानी कि बैलेंस बना रखना है, और प्रलय यानी कि सृष्टि का फिर से नाश करना है, तो उसकी साधन शक्ति दुर्गा है। और भगवान की छाया, जैसे छाया अनुरूप, व्यक्ति का अनुरूप होकर ही छाया काम करेगी, स्वतंत्र तो होती नहीं। तो इच्छानुरूपम अपि यस्य चेष्टते सा, भगवान की इच्छा के अनुरूप होकर ये सारी प्रवृत्ति कर रही है, वो भगवान गोविंद को हम भजते हैं। स्वतंत्र रूप से दुर्गा देवी, अभी तो नवरात्रि आएगी, देखो गुजरातियों में तो दांडिया रास खेलने जाएंगे, क्या क्या नहीं करेंगे, हैं? लेकिन भगवान के साथ कोई सरोकार नहीं रखेंगे, सिर्फ माया माँ की गोद में ही खेलना चाहते हैं, उनसे ही मांगेंगे ये दे दो वो दे दो, राइट? लेकिन देखो परेशानी तो रहेगी ही रहेगी, परेशानी आते ही दुर्गा के पास मांगते हैं, तो दुर्गा देगी सही पर परेशानी भी तो देती है। वो नहीं समझते, वो समझेंगे तो वो देगी तो मेरी परेशानी हट जाएगी, पर दुर्गा एक चीज नहीं देती, दोनों चीज देती, सुख भी देती है दुख भी देती, नहीं तो त्रिशूल क्यों लेती है? त्रिशूल द्वारा ही तो दुख देती है। शूल यानी पीड़ा और मिजरी, देयर आर थ्री, आध्यात्मिक, आदि भौतिक, आदि दैविक। बेवकूफ है इसलिए खुद की बुद्धि से दुख बुलाएगा, बिकॉज पीपल आर फूलिश, दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि ये व्यवस्था क्या है, दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द करेक्ट manifesto, that because they do not know the absolute truth, they will create miseries by their own foolishness. Otherwise, somebody else, living entity, can create misery for him. Or the material nature itself, when it is being polluted and other things, can create acid rain, other disasters, overflooding, too much cold, and will keep you always in anxiety. आज इतनी ठंडी पता नहीं महाराज जी आप ले आए, तब तो गर्मी थी, क्या हुआ? People say like that. Oh, Maharaji, you brought rain. Maharaji, you brought cold. As if uncle is agent. So anyway, the idea is that the living entity is trying to become happy but does not know how to become happy. So, what is their efforts going to be valued? Useless. Bhagavatam is telling perfectly that if somebody dies without knowing his Atma Tattva, he is equal to an animal. So, Tattva means truth. It's not fake. You are there, you are not fake, but you may be living fake. So, life of reality demands we have to live in reality also. That is the perfection for human being. That perfection is achieved not by knowledge, not by meditation, but by pure devotional service. Pure devotional service and eternal occupation. Knowledge is not an eternal occupation. Neither meditation is not an eternal occupation. सनातन धर्म में इटर्नलिटी देखनी चाहिए. आत्मा इटर्नल है, परमात्मा इटर्नल है, दोनों बीच का संबंध इटर्नल होता है. सनातन, जिसका न तो आदि है न तो अंत है. ये अपना सबसे पुराना संबंध है. उसको भूलकर हम यहाँ खुद मजा लेने आए हैं. तो कौन मजाक करता है बताओ? Who is enjoying? Ultimately Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. But he is compassionate, that's why he is expanding all the way from Golok Vrindavan to in our heart, our real heart, not pumping heart, innermost core of consciousness. So, O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramchandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard it again and again about Lord Ramchandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. Why Sukadeva Goswami is not describing in details? All the Kathakars will come and they'll describe the story part so much in detail, but not the truth part. Tattva is one and the same, but that has to be explained in each and every lila. How it is so distinguishable. How it is so super excellent. And the self story will tell what? It will tell everything in detail, but at what extent we will be able to appreciate. There will be so much confusion because we cannot relate it to our modern world. Our experience is completely contradictory, and there are no proper explanations will be given. So we are going to touch those subjects. All right? Lord Sukadeva Goswami is telling that Parikshit, you have heard Ramayan Katha many, many times. 5,000 years also. People were listening at that time. Ramayan Kathas. And that tradition is still there. We do not get any description of Ramayan Katha with a lot of entourage coming with the Kathavachak. Entertainment programs are there included in. So much of pomp and glorification and less of understanding about Lord Ramchandra is going on. These professional reciters. Prabhupada said they won't yield any tangible result. How? Modern Rakshasas posing as educationally advanced merely because they have doctorates, have tried to prove that Lord Ramchandra is not Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary man. But those who are learned and spiritually advanced will never accept such notions. They will accept the description of Lord Ramchandra and his activities only as presented by Tattvadarshis. Tattvadarshi means the seekers of truth, those who have seen the truth. Those who know the absolute truth. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead advises Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshantitam jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Unless one is Tattvadarshi in complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of God. बिना तत्वदर्शी भगवान के चरित्र की कोई कथा नहीं समझा पाता। तो ऐसे भगवत तत्व, भगवान के तत्व को जानने वाला आदमी के पास श्रवण करना चाहिए। उनके पास विनम्रता से जाना चाहिए, उनकी सेवा करना चाहिए, शरणागत की भावना होती है और बारंबार प्रश्नों करना चाहिए। बिना प्रश्न नहीं पता चले, यानी कि गूंगे रहना नहीं। You have to ask questions to clarify the tattva, and he will be obliged to expose the tattva because he has seen the truth. Why he should keep in his pocket and not give to you? That is tattva. So, therefore, there are many so-called Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramchandra's activities. Some of them are not actually authoritative. Sometimes Lord Ramchandra's activities are described in terms of one's own imagination, speculation, or material sentiments. But the characteristics of Lord Ramchandra should not be handled as something imaginary. Right? While describing the history of Lord Ramchandra, Sukadeva Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, you have already heard about the activities of Lord Ramchandra. Apparently, therefore, 5,000 years ago, there were many Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramchandra's activities, and there are many still. अलग-अलग वर्जन है, कोई क्या कहता है, कोई क्या नहीं कहता. But we must select only those books written by Tattvadarshis, not the books of so-called scholars who claim knowledge only on the basis of a doctorate. This is a warning by Sukadeva Goswami, Rishivihi Tattvadarshibhihi. Although the Ramayan composed by Valmiki is a huge literature, sometimes the same activities are summarized in order to retain the tattva and just talk on that tattva. So, ये रामायण की कथा बहुत संक्षिप्त में ले जाएंगे, पर जब महत्व के प्रसंग आएंगे तब उस पर चर्चा करेंगे. Right? So we'll keep the same space to keep the promise of his father intact. Lord Ramchandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Mother Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, the king of monkey, or another monkey Sugriva, and by his own younger brother Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Suparnakha, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravan to kill him like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. In one sloka. The whole Ramayan is finished. This is concise. And we know all the stories, right? Because we have heard many, many times. But we have to surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead who had enacted such wonderful pastimes by taking full refuge. We need protection. Prabhupada used to sing that bhajan, remember? Hey Krishna, 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 Hey Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahima. If you want to take shelter of Krishna, you have to ask protection from Ramachandra. Why? This is another, aspect to understand, because to follow in the footsteps of Lord Ramachandra, who became an ideal human being, keeping the vows of his father intact. Because the religion or the conduct should be based on truth, not on falsification. We lie and cheat because of that is our imperfection, but Lord Ramachandra shows us that stop cheating in business, and try to uphold the religion which is based on absolute truth. Because even in ordinary dealing, like giving Kaikeyi 2 boons, right? He was compelled to do that against his desire. If somebody is compelling us against our desire not to surrender to the Supreme, what should one do? Give up your life. That what Dasharatha did. But Lord Ramachandra was Supreme Personality of Godhead. He immediately took even an ordinary material boon that his mother asked Kaikeyi. He took up as an absolute truth. He did not distinguish between that to be material, because he is the Supreme. If he would have taken the kingdom by any political measures, that is material measures, Lord Ramachandra would not have any glorification. What will be ideal for glorifying that Supreme Person? Oh, he is coming as a king and he is ruling, that's about it? How would he be able to perform Leelas without eradicating the entire religious principles? The purpose of the Lord Advent is to yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. Krishna says, whenever and wherever there is discrepancy in executing the religious principles, and simultaneously there is an uprise of non-religious activities, at that time I advent myself to correct the situation. Dharma sansthapanartha means correct that situation and put the codes of religion for the absolute truth, in service of absolute truth. That is his duty. That's why he advanced. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkutam. So he takes the side of the devotees. And vinashaya dushkutam. Dushkutam means even ignorant fool who contribute to the disaster by consuming under the rule of demons themselves. Both are there. So, vinashaya dushkrutam. They must be exterminated because they are creating imbalance in execution of the devotional principles. So, we see that Lord Ramchandra, on the pretext of that excuse, he did not wait even for cremation of his father, neither he knew. Apparently, he knew everything in advance, he knows. But he did not care to come to cremate his father. It's the duty of the son. He gave importance of the truth that has come out from his father in giving promise. And he shows how his absolute character in obeying is so much beneficiary to the whole world in re-establishing the tenets of religion. He could have avoided, but he was so detached. He was not ordinary human being. He was so detached. His father was almost about to die. He cannot bear the separation from the Lord. Neither Bharat is going to take the separation, but he was persuaded by Lord Ramchandra himself. The idea is that to take an excuse to preserve the absolute truth on ordinary demand. Okay, Kaikeyi is using 2 boons just for her own selfishness, out of enviousness that was introduced, that was not from her own, it was introduced by Manthara. Right? And Ramchandra did not talk to her, anything about did not take any ill of such enviousness. Neither he could have cursed, but no. So, this is the ideal character. It is demanded from every son that he must be a servant of the absolute truth, personality of God. And such tradition carried on even in the later chapters when we'll see that son has to fulfill the desire of the father, even however odd or clumsy or seemingly immoral is. You know, in the case of Yayati and Devyani. Devyani was the daughter of Shukracharya. Right? She had a friend, Sarmishtha. She was a king's daughter, but both were friends. They were inseparable. So one time they were taking naked bath in a river, and their clothes were out on the shore. So at that time, Lord Shiva was supposed to pass through. And they got really fearful, so immediately they came out and in a hurry they wore each other's clothes. They wore each other's clothes. Then after some time, when they realized that what happened, they started quarreling because the Brahmins think that they are superior than the Kshatriyas, and because Kshatriyas, the rulers, are there, there's a Brahmins are inferior because they are our paid, priest. So, Sarmishtha being the king's daughter, she was a good fighter. And she pushed Devyani into a well. So, ultimately, when she was injured, what can she do except cry? Sarmishtha ran away, leaving so-called friend in the well. After some time, King Yayati was passing through, and he heard girls crying. So he came to the well and saw a beautiful girl is crying. He says, "Why are you crying?" He said, "How can I come out from this?" So Yayati extended his hand and pulled her out. So when a man holds a woman's hand, it means it is her husband. So Devyani said, "Now I cannot go anywhere. You are my husband. You have saved me. Now you have to shelter me and protect me." So, they say, "Okay, anything else?" Say, "Yes, I want that friend of mine, Sarmishtha, to be my maid servant." Say, "No problem. But one more condition, that you should not sleep with her." He said yes. So they had the family life going, and they had children. But one day Devyani found out that Sarmistha also begot a son, and she doubted that it must be Yayati. So she went away to her father's home, and Shukracharya immediately cursed Yayati to become an old man, an invalid. Yayati went shamelessly. I have erred, I broke the promise, what can I do? It is the providence, I have to accept the fate. But I want the Devyani to come home. He said, how can my young daughter live with an old man? Get away, get out. He says, no. Repentance, if it is possible, then I'm willing to do as a punishment, whatever it is. What should I do? He said, you should beg youthfulness from one of your sons in exchange of your old age. So, King Yayati, he was still a king, but cursed king. He did not have shame to go to his sons, because he was holding some truthfulness in him. However, one is so much materially obsessed, the truthfulness was upheld. And 4 of his sons denied, either by joking, by laughing him out, or by telling him what nonsense, this and that, they were not ready. So, Yayati said, you are defying the king's order, and that king has to be your father? You do not belong to Vedic civilization, so get out. Get out from my kingdom. You are not capable to run the kingdom. So they went to Europe, and they established this Roman and Greek empires. And subsequent, they were the descendants of Yayati. In Mahabharata, this story is there. They have been shipped out from the Vedic territory, what they call it. The 5th son was Puru, and he was very pious. He said, yes, father, I will exchange my youth with your old age. It is my duty to fulfill your desires. Whatever the conditions are, it's acceptable to me. For Shantanu to marry Ganga, Shantanu to marry Satyavati. Bhishma, the son of Ganga, has to give the promise to remain brahmachari, never marry. So it is just to uphold the absolute truth that where they are going to participate. And that is the observance of the Vedic religion. So we should understand that while Lord Ramchandra is ready to take upon his head to fulfill the order of his father has to give the order even unwillingly. So ये रामचंद्र भगवान ने इसी तरह परम सत्य की रक्षा के लिए वनवास चाहा। स्वयं वो परम सत्य थे, तो परम सत्य क्या है वो समझाने के लिए वनवास धारण किया। लेकिन वनवास में भी जो उनको सहन करना पड़ा, या वो सब सारी लीला है परम सत्य की रक्षा के लिए ही है। बिना जाने वाली का वध करना और सुग्रीव के साथ मित्रता करना हनुमान जी के माध्यम से उन्होंने किया। तो इसमें क्या परम सत्य है? वाली भी सुग्रीव की पत्नी तारा को उठा गया था। तो वो सामान्य घटना नहीं है। एक घटना के साथ बहुत सारी घटनाएं ऐसी होती हैं कि जिसके पीछे परम सत्य का पर्दाफाश होता है। You know, the absolute truth will be revealed in a sequential happenings, but ultimately param vijayate, सत्यमेव जयते। विजय हमेशा सत्य और वास्तविक जो होता है उसकी होती है। सत्य हवा में लटकता नहीं है, वास्तविक होना चाहिए। इससे काफी अभी प्रश्नोत्तरी भी होगी, क्योंकि यदि सीता माता को रावण ले गया, फिर भी सीता को अग्नि परीक्षा क्यों की? जब एक धोबी के कहने पर सीता को फिर से गर्भवती थी, तो गर्भवती को भी वाल्मीकि ऋषि के आश्रम में छोड़ देना पड़ा। ये क्यों? इसमें क्या परम सत्य है? तो उसकी चर्चा विषय जैसे जैसे प्रसंग आएगा तैसे करेंगे, लेकिन ये पूर्व भूमि का आज हम बता देते हैं। We are just telling the prelude of the why we have to concentrate in Ramayan the absolute truth. The subject of absolute truth is at most important. Without that, how many times you will be hearing Ramayan, you will not get. वो कहावत है ना कि कथा सुनी सुनी फुट्या कान तो ये नायु ब्रह्म ज्ञान। We have a habit to go on listening and listening and listening, but without proper foundation on the spirituality. We are spiritual beings, but yet if we take the kathas which are divine or spiritual in nature as the interaction of the common man, then we are contradicting ourselves. So the purpose of hearing will not be served. How many times we go, our readiness is not there to dwell into the reality of the absolute truth. We have to become ready at one point. Therefore, सुखदेव गोस्वामी को तो 7 दिन की ही बात थी, और उसमें रामायण के लिए यदि कथा करनी है तो 9 दिन तो कम से कम चाहिए। तो ये 7 दिन में कैसे हो पाएगा? पर 7 दिना की भी बात नहीं, 12 स्कंद में, 9वें स्कंद में ही थोड़ी चर्चा में सब स्पष्टीकरण कर देते हैं। It is very important that this Ramcharitra has been told in concise, but it is completely in tune with the concentrated effort to reveal the absolute truth. And this has happened to Valmiki Muni, who is a self-realized soul, and that was how many? 1,750,000 years back. And Ramayan has been continuing. तो कितने का उद्धार करती है ये कथा, वो देखना। परम सत्य की थोड़ी सी भी पहचान हो जाए तो जीवन बड़ा पार। जय बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। Give me one Vedam
जय
You can only learn by submissive inquiry from the one who has seen the absolute truth. He will impart. That is the process. The Vedic process has not been deviated from this principle. The revelation of absolute truth will be in proportion to your qualifications. That is the point. So it affords us to practice. So in much serious and sincerity that we practice, the Guru will reveal.
About Ravana as a Rakshasa. Is a Rakshasa, I heard that was like cannibals. Is that true?
They may or may not. They may be vegetarians also. Anyone who is envious of God is Rakshasa. Or his devotees. He is coming from that inheritance. Both Rakshas and the Devatas are also residing in our thoughts, in our bodies, expansions of them, to control each and everything. You know? The movements of our eyelids are controlled by the power of some demigod. On our own, we are unable to do anything. We didn't have any of our energies, or we acquired by borrowing, not otherwise. So nothing belongs to us because it's happening. Everything is coming out from acquired energy. Acquired immunodeficiency. The AIDS is also acquired as a reaction. Yes.
Yeah, along with that question, Maharaj, I was wondering, because is there an actual race of Rakshas as well? Like we hear, like we got Hidimba and like that. They're very powerful, more powerful than normal human beings. So there is a race of Rakshasa as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So not necessarily. So you can use the word Rakshasa generically, like Asura. You're talking, but also there is an actual race of Rakshasa.
Yes, Yakshas and Rakshasas are two creation that came under the 10th category along with the demigods. You know, there are demigods who are coming from even Yaksha and Rakshasas, like Kuber was a Yaksha, and Yamaraj, the great devotee, is also coming from. But they are exceptions. They are not envious of God. Many a times Mayadanav and others, they come upon order of Krishna to build the kingdom of Pandavas, Hastinapur. So like that, New Delhi. And Indraprastha was also done by Mayadanav. Danav means Rakshas. They are very impatient. They always seek to fight on their own, on slight provocations. These are the symptoms. You know, they always remain doubtful because of their envious nature. And sometimes they love to eat. You know, fellow beings. The cannibals. They were leftover Rakshasa race. In Fiji, there are cannibals. They were. Even in Papua New Guinea. You know, some on this South Pacific Islands. You see their bodies are very big, strong, extraordinary big, but they may not have power. But the chief of a tribe in Fiji should have killed at least 99 white people. You know, so he shows the number of skulls. So he will be adorned as the chief. You are the greatest. Gula. So like that. They are cannibals. They were cannibals. And Rakshasas are easily termed as cannibals. But they have their own family. They have their own living standard also. So there might be varieties of Rakshasas. Varieties of Rakshasas.
Like the ones, the modern ones, the PhD ones, like the modern ones. One of the variety.
Surely. Those who are envious is coming from Rakshas. Envious of God is not an easy getaway excuse. Oh, what a big deal. No, but that keeps his distance. That is the only root cause to come in the material world. Some are staunch Rakshasas, avid enemies of Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. And you haven't seen that Hiranyakashipu can torture his own son at this extent. So we have to see that what kind of, false ego they will be having. That the Lord has to match out every circumstances to thwart his plan. They want to compete with God. Anybody who is a competitor is also a Rakshas. Ponder, he was a Rakshas. He was not an ordinary king, but he was very envious. He implanted 2 more hands and but they were empty. But he wanted to claim himself to be Vishnu, and he was making everybody believe. He came to Dwarka to challenge Krishna. That you are fake, I am the right one. Krishna says, what can I do for you? You give up your kingdom, you accept my surrender, and by the way, return all my weapons that you have stolen from me. So Krishna gave, okay, this is the Gada for you, take it. This is Shankha, take it. This is Padma, you take it. And you also take this Sudarshan Chakra. And when Sudarshan Chakra leaves Lord Krishna's hand, then he will do the job and come. So this is how he has to be taught the lesson. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmane Vaishnave Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasam Jayate Sharira Vidyaja Jadendriya Taheka Jive Pele Vishay Sagare Buddhi Jivayate Lopamaya Sudharmati Ake Jata Kathina Sansare Krishna Bardayama Karibare Jivaja Swaprasada Nadilobha Shannamritapa Radha Krishna Gunaga Ramida Koshri Chaitanya Nita Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prasad ki Prabhupada ki